You're fired, Cole. Scott Rivers dropped that bomb on me at 10:30 p.m. on a Wednesday night, 3 days before Black Friday. The biggest shopping day of the year. And this suit-wearing disaster just tossed 15 years of my life into the corporate trash like yesterday's coffee grounds. I'm Cole Daniels, 49 years old, and I've been keeping the digital backbone of TechFlow Industries running since before most people knew what the cloud was. Senior infrastructure engineer, fancy title for the guy who makes sure your online orders don't disappear into the internet void when 50 million people decide to buy stuff at the same time. Scott stood there in his $2,000 suit, checking his Apple Watch like he had dinner reservations at some overpriced steakhouse. Guy fails upward faster than a helium balloon. He smells like expensive cologne and unearned authority, with that dead-eyed smile that says he's about to ruin your day using corporate buzzwords he learned at some weekend MBA seminar. Effective immediately, he continued, not even glancing at my screens where I'd been debugging code for Project Atlas, our global shipping integration that was supposed to handle the Black Friday tsunami without drowning. Severance is standard. Security is already on the way up. My mortgage payment flashed through my head, $2,400 a month for a house that's been home for 12 years. My son Jake's engineering school tuition sitting on my kitchen counter, $18,000 per semester at Arizona State. The health insurance I'd lose. At 49, getting fired isn't just career disruption, it's financial catastrophe wrapped in corporate speak and tied with a pink slip ribbon. You're firing me, I said, tasting copper in my mouth, 3 days before Black Friday. Because why exactly? Cultural fit, Scott said, straightening his tie like he was posing for a magazine cover. You're too methodical, Cole, too careful. You build redundancies for redundancies. We need agility, speed. My daughter Lisa thinks your protocols are legacy drag that's slowing down our digital transformation. Lisa Rivers, 24 years old, 8-week coding bootcamp graduate, calls herself a digital transformation specialist on LinkedIn with a profile picture that looks like she's selling workout supplements. The girl who asked me last week if SQL stood for super quick language and whether we could make the servers run faster by upgrading to more premium internet. I've been training her for 2 weeks. Patient as a saint, explaining why we don't just delete error messages to make systems run cleaner. Why we don't turn off security protocols because they create too many pop-up notifications. Why backup systems exist even if they waste storage space. She nodded and smiled and took notes on her MacBook covered in motivational stickers. Girl boss, disrupt everything, move fast, and break things. That last one should have been a warning sign. That legacy drag, I said, standing up from my chair, is the firewall keeping every hacker from here to Moscow from turning our logistics network into their personal Bitcoin mining operation. Scott held up a manicured hand. Actual manicure, like some Wall Street executive. Lisa moves fast. She breaks things to fix them. That's the modern way. That's how Silicon Valley operates. Scott, this isn't Silicon Valley. This is supply chain management. When our system breaks, trucks full of insulin sit at docks in Long Beach with no routing data. Pharmaceuticals spoil. People don't get their medications. That's not disruption. That's negligence. Bruce will escort you out. Scott gestured to the doorway where Bruce Coleman, our night security guard, stood looking like he wanted to disappear into the floor. Bruce is good people. I bring him coffee every Friday black with 2 sugars. He knows about my divorce 3 years ago, asks about Jake's grades, remembers my birthday. Now he had to march me out like some corporate criminal. I need to document the Atlas integration patch, I said, reaching for my keyboard. My screen showed green text on black. The language I speak better than English. Lines of code that connected shipping centers from Los Angeles to Shanghai, managing everything from frozen biologics to live Christmas trees. Don't touch company equipment, Scott snapped, his corporate mask slipping. Lisa takes over at 8 a.m. tomorrow. She'll handle the Atlas integration. She's got fresh eyes, new perspectives. The absurdity hit me like ice water. Lisa, who thinks Python is related to the snake exhibit at the Phoenix Zoo, was going to manage our Black Friday infrastructure. The same Lisa who told me yesterday that she could optimize our database performance by deleting old log files because digital hoarding creates negative energy in the system. I grabbed my truck keys from the desk. Warren Ford F-150 keychain, bought used 6 years ago when the divorce cleaned out my savings, and I had to choose between keeping my Camaro or keeping a roof over Jake's head when he visited. Next to the keys sat my coffee mug. World's okayest dad, that Jake gave me for Father's Day when he was 16. Kid's 22 now, junior year engineering at ASU, building robots and designing circuit boards. You're making a mistake, Scott. A multi-million-dollar mistake. I'll take my chances with innovation over stagnation. I looked at my screens one final time. 3 monitors displaying the guts of Project Atlas, code I'd written, debugged, refined over months of 60-hour weeks. The integration layer that would route 50 million orders across 6 continents in 72 hours. Every line of code stress-tested, every function triple-verified, every possible failure scenario planned for. One wrong command could crash the entire network. One deleted safety protocol could turn Black Friday into a $50 million disaster. I didn't save my work. I didn't commit the final changes to the repository. I just reached over and powered down my monitors, leaving my uncommitted integration patch sitting in volatile system memory, like leaving a loaded gun on the table next to a curious child. You absolutely sure about this, Scott? Completely. Now please, you're making a scene. There was nobody else in the office at 10:30 p.m. to see any scene, but in Scott's corporate fantasy, he was already rehearsing his story for the board meeting. How he trimmed the legacy fat, how he ushered in a new era of youthful digital innovation, how he replaced expensive experience with affordable enthusiasm. The elevator ride down felt like descending into corporate purgatory, brushed steel walls and the smell of industrial disinfectant. Bruce stood in the corner, trying to make himself invisible. Good man caught in a bad situation, just trying to pay for his daughter's braces and his wife's medical bills. It's okay, buddy. I told him as we descended past the engineering floors, past accounting, past the executive suites. Just doing your job. I'm sorry, Cole. Bruce mumbled, his face flushed. I really am. This doesn't feel right. Not your fault. The circus came to town, and sometimes the clowns run the show. But here's the thing about corporate circuses. Sometimes the tent catches fire, and guess who they call to put it out? Thursday morning, I woke up in my empty house to the sound of my coffee maker gurgling and my phone buzzing with unemployment insurance paperwork. The place felt bigger without Jake around. He only visits every other weekend now since starting his junior year. Kid's building autonomous drones for his senior project. Something about emergency medical supply delivery to disaster zones. Smart as hell. Gets it from his mother. I spent the day in my garage, working on my '84 Harley Sportster. Engine rebuild, complete teardown. There's something therapeutic about taking apart a machine that's been running strong for 40 years and putting it back together better than it was. Unlike corporate infrastructure, motorcycle engines don't lie to you. They work or they don't. No middle management, no buzzwords, no politics. By Thursday evening, my phone started buzzing. Text messages from Roy Martinez, our junior developer. Good kid, reminds me of Jake. Curious, eager, actually listens when you explain why things work the way they do. Hey, Cole, weird question. Did you change anything in the Atlas configuration before you left? I ignored it. Not my problem anymore. Another text, 20 minutes later. Lisa's asking about some error messages that started popping up. Says they're slowing down her optimization workflow. Then another. She turned off something called legacy monitoring protocols, said they were creating unnecessary alerts. I put my phone face down on my workbench and focused on reassembling a carburetor. Let Lisa handle her digital transformation. Let Scott explain to the board why his daughter's fresh perspective was worth more than 15 years of paranoid system architecture. But my phone kept buzzing like an angry wasp. Roy again. Cole, I'm getting worried. The transaction processing latency is spiking. Some of the database clusters are showing red status indicators. Susan Walsh, our database administrator. Colton, I know you're gone, but something's wrong with the Atlas integration. Lisa disabled some protocols I've never seen before. Can you call me? Glenn Foster from QA. Dude, the staging environment is throwing weird errors. Lisa said not to worry about them. Should I be worried? By Friday morning, Black Friday morning, the buzzing turned into actual phone calls. I let them go to voicemail. I was officially unemployed, officially not their problem, officially free to spend my morning drinking coffee and reading job postings for 49-year-old infrastructure engineers in a market that prefers 25-year-old bootcamp graduates. The first call came at 5:47 a.m. Roy Martinez, voice shaking like he'd just watched his career explode. Cole, please pick up. Please, it's all gone. Everything's gone. I answered on the fourth ring, Roy, I don't work there anymore. The system crashed, completely. It's Black Friday and we can't process a single order. The main Atlas integration is locked in some kind of infinite loop, consuming all our server capacity. Lisa's locked herself in the bathroom crying. Scott's screaming at everyone. The backup systems won't mount. Dean's been trying to reach you for an hour. Through the phone, I could hear the sound of corporate panic. Shouting voices, ringing phones, the digital equivalent of the Titanic hitting an iceberg at full steam. What exactly did Lisa do? She said the error messages were cluttering her dashboard experience, so she disabled what she called legacy alert protocols. Then she turned off something called load balancing inhibitors because they were artificially limiting system performance. Cole, I don't even know what those things do. But now the database is writing the same data blocks over and over again. It's like it's stuck in a nightmare loop. I closed my eyes and did the math. Load balancing inhibitors were the traffic cops of our database cluster. Turn them off, and the system tries to process every request simultaneously, instead of queuing them properly. It's like removing the traffic lights from a busy intersection and wondering why there are crashes. How long has the system been down? 3 hours. Asian markets opened, and our entire Pacific shipping network is dead. We've got refrigerated trucks sitting at docks in Long Beach and Shanghai with no routing data. Pharmaceuticals that need constant temperature monitoring. The liability alone, $500,000 per hour in operational revenue, I finished. Plus spoiled inventory, regulatory fines, contract violations. Dean's on the other line. He wants to talk to you, please, Cole. I hung up and poured another cup of coffee. Let them stew. Let Scott explain to the board how his daughter's 8 weeks of bootcamp training qualified her to manage mission-critical infrastructure. Let Lisa explain why she thought error messages were just negative feedback that needed to be eliminated. My phone rang again. Dean Harper, the CEO. I let it ring 4 times before answering. Cole? Thank God. Don't hang up, please. Dean built TechFlow from a single delivery truck in his garage 20 years ago. He's not a tech genius, but he understands logistics. He knows that moving things from point A to point B requires precision, not personality. He also knows that when your digital infrastructure collapses on the biggest shopping day of the year, you call the guy who built it. Dean, I don't work there anymore, remember? Scott made that crystal clear Wednesday night. I know, but the system's completely crashed. It's 6:30 a.m. Pacific. Asian markets have been open for 3 hours, and we can't process a single order. Our entire global shipping network is down. Lisa disabled something, and now the main database cluster is consuming all our processing power doing. I don't even know what. She turned off the load balancing inhibitors. I said, taking a sip of coffee, it's like removing the brakes from a semi-truck because they slow it down. Can you fix it? Long pause. In the background, I could hear Scott's voice getting higher and shriller. This has to be sabotage. Cole must have planted some kind of logic bomb before he left. That depends, Dean. Are we talking about fixing the servers or fixing the management problem that broke them? What do you want, Cole? I could hear the desperation in Dean's voice. Behind him, the chaos was getting louder. Someone was shouting about pharmaceutical shipments sitting dead in refrigerated trucks. Another voice mentioned congressional oversight of supply chain failures. The sound of a company hemorrhaging money at $500,000 per hour. I want Scott and Lisa gone. Publicly, this morning. With full acknowledgement that their incompetence caused this disaster before I touch a single line of code. Scott's been with me for 8 years. He's VP of Operations. I can't just then start shopping for industrial refrigeration units. I cut him off. Because you're going to need somewhere to store $50 million worth of spoiled inventory while you explain to the FDA why your pharmaceutical cold chain monitoring was disabled by someone who thinks SSL certificates take too long to load. Silence, long enough for me to hear my coffee maker finishing its second pot of the morning. Finally, what else? Full root access to everything. I work alone in the server room. No management, no oversight. No helpful suggestions from people who think rebooting fixes corrupted databases. And Dean, when this is over, we're going to have a conversation about my future role here, okay? I didn't hear you, okay? Dean shouted loud enough to cut through the background panic. You win. Scott and Lisa are out. Come fix our systems. 45 minutes later, I was back in my element. The TechFlow server room hummed with the sound of overheating processors working overtime to process corrupted data loops. The temperature was up 8 degrees minus, always a bad sign. Servers generate heat when they're stressed, and our cluster was sweating bullets trying to execute impossible commands. Scott and Lisa were nowhere to be seen. Dean had escorted them out personally while I was driving in. According to Roy, Scott spent his final 10 minutes screaming about wrongful termination lawsuits and sabotage conspiracies. Lisa just cried and asked if this would affect her LinkedIn endorsements. My team was there waiting. Roy Martinez sweating through his vintage Star Trek t-shirt, Susan Walsh looking like she hadn't slept in 12 hours, Glenn Foster pacing behind the monitoring stations like a caged animal. Good people, all of them. Competent engineers who understood that systems fail when you ignore the fundamentals. Okay, show me what we're dealing with, I said, settling into my old chair at the main console. Someone had tried to adjust the height, probably Lisa, and I had to lower it back to where an actual adult could work comfortably. Susan pulled up the system status on the main display. It was a nightmare, Christmas tree of red error messages and yellow warning indicators. The core Atlas database cluster was trapped in recursive processing loops, consuming 94% of our total server capacity. Response times were measured in minutes instead of milliseconds. She disabled the load balancing inhibitors, Susan explained, which caused the database to try processing every backlogged Black Friday order simultaneously instead of queuing them properly. Then, when that started generating error messages, she turned off the alerts instead of fixing the problem. Like unplugging your car's check engine light because the blinking is annoying, Glenn added. I lit up the main terminal, black screen, white cursor. My oldest friend in the digital world. How long since the last successful transaction? 4 hours and 23 minutes, Roy said. Asian markets are calling every 15 minutes. European distribution centers are sending panicked emails. Our partners think we've been hacked. Timeline: if we're not processing orders by noon Pacific, we lose the entire Black Friday window. Monday will be too late. Customers will have shopped elsewhere. I cracked my knuckles and opened the system configuration files. Lisa's changes were immediately obvious, like graffiti spray painted across a technical manual. She'd commented out critical safety protocols with notes like legacy drag removed for speed and unnecessary XOR spam delete. Listen up, I announced to the room. We're performing emergency surgery on a patient that's technically dead. This is going to require some creative medicine. What do you need? Susan asked. Roy, start dumping all transaction logs to our sandbox environment. Raw data only. Don't try to parse anything yet. Susan, manually isolate the Pacific distribution nodes and send them maintenance mode flags. False, but it'll stop them from sending panic reports to the State Department. Glenn, prepare to mirror our entire database cluster to the disaster recovery site. That'll take hours, Glenn protested. The DR site hasn't been updated since August. It's current enough. Sometimes you need yesterday's backup to fix today's disaster. I pulled out my emergency pack of cigarettes, kept for crises involving incompetent management decisions. The smoke detectors had been disabled months ago after too many false alarms from overheating equipment. The core problem was elegant in its stupidity. Lisa had disabled the transaction queue management system, causing every Black Friday order to hit the main database simultaneously. It was like opening all the floodgates on a dam instead of controlling water flow through spillways. The database was drowning in its own success. I'm going to kill the main process, I announced. That's digital suicide, Roy whispered. No, that's digital defibrillation. Sometimes you have to stop the heart to restart it properly. I typed the command that would either save the company or finish destroying it. Sudo sense-to-kill stop Atlas main and sudo sense-to-kill stop Atlas worker, shutting down all Atlas processes in 3, 2, 1. I hit enter. Every screen in the room went black. The server fan noise dropped to a whisper. Emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in an eerie yellow glow. The room fell silent except for the distant hum of backup power systems. Did we just delete TechFlow? Glenn asked in a voice barely above a whisper. We stopped the bleeding, I said, taking a drag from my cigarette. Now comes the real magic. Here's what Lisa didn't know, couldn't know, and never would have thought to ask about. For the past 3 years, I'd been creating ghost images of our entire system infrastructure. Complete backups running on isolated hardware, updated every 6 hours, invisible to standard monitoring tools. Call it paranoia, call it experience. When you've seen enough systems fail because of management decisions, you build insurance policies they can't find or delete. Activating Lazarus Protocol, I said, pulling up a terminal window that most people assumed was just another diagnostic tool. Green text began cascading across my screen. Disaster recovery initiated, accessing Ghost Image Atlas Paranoid Backup 8.2, validating data integrity. 99.7% clean beginning system restoration. What is that? Roy asked, leaning over my shoulder. That, I said, pointing at the screen with my cigarette, is why we pay experienced engineers more than bootcamp graduates. It's a way good. It's 3 years of legacy drag that's about to save everyone's job. The restoration progress bar climbed steadily, 23%, 45%, 67%. How long has this backup system been running? Susan asked, watching database tables rebuild themselves in real time. 3 years, 2 months, and 16 days, I replied. Every time management talks about eliminating redundancies or streamlining legacy systems, I build another layer of insurance. Call it job security. At 87% completion, Roy's phone started buzzing. It's working, he said, checking the external monitoring dashboard. Transaction processing is coming back online. The Pacific nodes are responding. Glenn was practically bouncing. Latency is dropping. Response times are back in milliseconds. 94%, 98%, 100%. System restoration complete all Atlas modules. Operational transfer backlog. Processing estimated completion. 47 minutes. Roy, reopen the external gateways. Susan, bring the Pacific distribution centers back online. Glenn, start monitoring for any residual corruption in the transaction logs. My team moved with the efficiency of a NASCAR pit crew. Within 10 minutes, the global shipping map was glowing green again. Orders that had been stuck in digital limbo for 5 hours began flowing through the system like water through a broken dam. We're stable, Susan announced. All systems nominal. Black Friday is back in business. I leaned back in my chair and lit another cigarette. Better than stable. I cleaned 3 years of accumulated digital garbage during the restoration. System performance is actually better than it was before Lisa broke everything. My phone buzzed. Text from Jake. Dad saw on the news that TechFlow had some kind of cyber crisis this morning. Hope you're okay, even though you got fired. Call me later. I smiled and typed back. Crisis resolved. I'll call you tonight. Got some good news to share. Dean appeared in the server room doorway 20 minutes later, looking like he'd aged 5 years in 5 hours. His usually perfect hair was disheveled, his tie loosened, and he was holding his phone like it contained the nuclear launch codes. Status report? He asked. All systems operational, I replied. Black Friday is proceeding normally. Transaction processing is actually running 15% faster than our previous best performance. Damage assessment? 5 hours of downtime, approximately $2.5 million in lost revenue. Plus, you'll need to file incident reports with the FDA about the pharmaceutical cold chain disruption and probably face some congressional questions about supply chain security. Dean rubbed his face with both hands. Scott's threatening to sue for wrongful termination. Says you sabotaged the system before you left. I pulled up the system logs on my main monitor. These timestamps tell a different story. Every change that broke the system was made after I left the building. Want me to print them out for his lawyer? What about Lisa? She's updating her LinkedIn to seeking new opportunities in digital transformation. Apparently, this experience taught her that maybe she should finish a computer science degree before calling herself a systems architect. Dean sat down heavily in Roy's spare chair. I need you to stay, Cole. Not just for crisis management permanently. Name your terms. I'd been thinking about this moment for the past hour. Chief Technology Officer. Full authority over all technical hiring decisions. Any system changes above routine maintenance require my written approval. And I want a 6-month transition period to properly document everything and train a backup team. Done? Salary? We'll discuss that Monday. Right now, I want to go home, crack open a beer, and call my son. The board meeting is Monday morning at 8. They'll want to hear your recommendations for preventing future incidents. Tell them to hire people who know the difference between a database and a spreadsheet, and maybe stop letting family relationships override technical competence in hiring decisions. I spent the weekend in my garage finishing the Harley rebuild. There's something satisfying about restoring a machine to better than a regional condition. Every bolt torqued to specification, every connection clean and secure, every system tested and proven reliable. Jake drove down from Tempe Saturday evening, bringing pizza and wanting to hear the whole story. We sat in the garage, sharing a six-pack of Corona while I explained how incompetent management had nearly destroyed a $200 million company. So they fired you for being too careful, Jake said, and then begged you to come back because they needed someone who was careful enough to have backup plans. Pretty much. Turns out move fast and break things doesn't work so well when breaking things costs $500,000 per hour. Dad, you're kind of a badass. I'm an old engineer who's seen enough disasters to be paranoid. Sometimes paranoia and experience look a lot like heroism. We talked until midnight about his drone project, his girlfriend, his plans after graduation. For the first time since the divorce, I felt like we were connecting as adults instead of just weekend visitations. Monday morning's board meeting was a formality. 12 executives in expensive suits listening to me explain why hiring qualified engineers costs less than cleaning up after unqualified ones. They nodded, asked smart questions, and approved my entire technology department reorganization plan. Scott's lawsuit lasted exactly 3 days until his lawyer saw the system logs and incident reports. Hard to claim sabotage when the evidence shows your daughter deleted critical safety protocols because she thought error messages were creating negative user experience vibes. Lisa eventually finished her computer science degree and got a job at a startup that built social media apps. She never worked in infrastructure again. Sometimes breaking things really does teach you not to touch them. I kept the world's okayest dad mug on my new executive office desk, right next to the photo of my fully restored Harley. Reminders that some things are worth rebuilding carefully, piece by piece, with patience and attention to detail. 6 months later, when Jake graduated summa cum laude with his engineering degree and a job offer from Boeing, he called me at work. "Hey, Dad, congratulations on the promotion coverage in the tech journals. Veteran engineer saves company from digital disaster. Pretty cool. Thanks, kid. How's the job hunt? Actually, I was wondering, think you might have an opening for a junior systems engineer? Someone who appreciates redundancy and actually reads documentation." I looked out my office window at the bustling TechFlow campus, where competent people were doing competent work with proper oversight and realistic timelines. I think we can find something, but fair warning, we move slow and build things right. No breaking things to fix them. Sounds perfect. Turns out I learned a thing or two about patience and proper engineering from this guy I know. Some lessons are worth passing down. And some things, like good engineering practices, proper documentation, and the value of experience, never go out of style, no matter what the latest management consulting fad claims. The servers hummed quietly in the background, processing millions of transactions with boring, reliable efficiency. Just the way I built them to work. Sometimes the most expensive lesson a company can learn is that there's no substitute for experience, and the most dangerous employee isn't the one who moves too slow, it's the one who moves too fast without understanding what they're breaking. In a world obsessed with disruption and innovation, the real heroes are the quiet professionals who build things right the first time. Because when everything falls apart, competence isn't just valuable, it's priceless.